What's up, y'all? It's Kevin Redline here to make a quick video. And of course, I'm talking about the Ravens. So, we are going into week 7, I believe. Ravens are 5-1. A lot of things have happened. Lamar Jackson continue to erase narratives. The Ravens are pushing through every bit of adverse situation that comes their way. And this season has, been stressful for fans. So I can only imagine what the Ravens have gone through. But with that being said, I just wanted to make a quick video because it's a few things. So I made a video before when I said the Ravens are an unorthodox team, and the way they built the Ravens, I said they don't want the guy. They want a group of guys that can get the job done. And some people agree with me and some people had a lot to say. But with everything that's gone on, it hit me that what I said about the Ravens not wanting the guy, not wanting that one guy that set the team apart, it is being shown with all the injuries, everything that is taking place this season, and the Ravens are still 5-1. We play the Bengals tomorrow, and that's going to be a tough game. I don't know how that's going to turn out. Just have to wait and see. But we're still a good team, and that is because the way they went about building a team. Their team isn't going to, crumble with the loss of a wide receiver or all your running backs or a defensive back or just, and not to say that these injuries can keep piling up, because yes, every team has their breaking point, but because of the way they evaluate players and the way they value players, they put themselves in a position where they can continue to succeed with these kinds of losses. And to jump back even further, I remember everybody was freaking out because Juju Smith turned down the Ravens. Kenny Galladay, went with New York. I mean, we really weren't trying to pay him that kind of money anyway. And T.Y. Hilton backed out and went back to the Colts. And when we got Sammy Watkins, people was like, he always hurt. But if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Galladay is out. T.Y. Hilton is out. Juju Smith is gone for the season. And I get Sammy is hurt. He has a thigh injury. But again, because of the way the Ravens have built the team, we're not relying on Watkins. We got guys that can get the job done. That last game we played was an incredible team effort. The everything wasn't on Lamar Jackson to get it done. Everything wasn't on the defense. Everything wasn't on the running backs or the wide receiver. Everybody did their job against the Chargers. I hope we can carry that into the Bengals game, but we'll see. But it's funny, in hindsight, you look at it, all these players that we were clamoring about and hoping we could get and upset that we didn't get, they're all hurt because that's football. And to talk about Stephen A. Smith and how he's trying to act like he's not moving the goalposts. And one of my hype videos, it's a line where he says, "You are not an elite quarterback, period." And in that video, if I played more of it, if you go back to that original video, he says his number one thing is being elite and an elite thrower of the football. That's his number one statistic when it comes to an elite quarterback. It's funny how he's not talking about that now that Lamar Jackson has been throwing relatively well this season. He's been accurate. He's been getting the yardage, and that goes out the window. Now he wants to see what he can do in the playoffs. But let's look at Lamar Jackson's first playoff game when it was against the Chargers, man. I remember that game. The Ravens went away from the run. Lamar Jackson didn't have a great game, but what was he? 8 games in at that point? That was his 8th game. as a starter. He was a rookie. A lot of rookie quarterbacks don't even get to go to the playoffs. But you know, and not to mention, he almost came back to win that game. I remember in the fourth quarter, I believe. You know, it was like the coaching staff say, "Look, Lamar, we in a deep hole. The run game ain't working. Just do what you do." And we almost came back. And if we look at the Titans game, it wasn't a great game by Lamar, but a lot of people dropped the ball that game, and the defense couldn't stop. What's his name? Derrick Henry. And you saw what the result was with that. And we lost to them the following season during the regular season, and then we beat them in the playoffs last season. And people love to bring up the Bills game. In the Bills game, both quarterbacks didn't have a great game. Lamar Jackson happened to throw a pick six in a windy game where Justin Tucker missed 2 field goals back to back, which never happens. And Sam Cook shanked the punt. Like, those 3 things never really happened, but it happened in that game. And that's just how it played out. Now we're in another year. We want to see how these things, how this season turns out. But now to go back to what Stephen A. Smith was saying, he's talking about he wants to see what Lamar Jackson can do in the playoffs. Now, that's what really counts. Now, Joe Flacco, my guy, has been known to be one of the greatest playoff quarterbacks there is. That's all everybody talks about is playoff Joe. If we can just get to the playoffs, that's playoff Joe. But if regular season is so irrelevant to Stephen A. Smith and playoffs are what matters, and what Lamar Jackson is doing, which he always does, isn't really important because it's in the regular season, if we can't get to the postseason, it's no way we could see what Lamar Jackson could do. We spent, 4 years trying to see what playoff Joe could do because playoff Joe couldn't do what he needed to do in the regular season. And that's if I go by the logic of, Stephen A. Smith. We didn't get to see playoff Joe. The Ravens didn't get to touch the playoffs until Lamar Jackson started and went 6-1, I believe, his rookie year. So it's just frustrating to hear all this. And that was a bit of a ramble. I'm sorry I didn't have this structure, but it's so frustrating to hear these people do this. But you know what? Let them continue to rank all these other teams above the Ravens. Let them continue to talk down on the Ravens. Let them elevate every quarterback that Lamar Jackson has to go against. And technically, it's the defense that has to go against them. But let them elevate them. Because when they do that, the Ravens seem to play better. They seem to step it up. They seem to get the job done. So let them do it. I will no longer entertain the disrespect that these analysts and, whoever, analysts, fans, Twitter, everybody, let them talk because they constantly look stupid every week. But let me know what y'all think. Am I crazy? Or do I have a point? I'll holler at y'all later. See you.